Hello everyone, welcome to part 2. In part 1 I wrote about the unspeakable wound I carried, and this reflection is what came after, the aftermath of meeting that wound. The weeks around this release were confusing to say the least, because some of what I felt actually started before the big tear. For months I had noticed something strange at night. My teeth would clatter, my jaw would bite down as I fell into REM sleep. And I didn't know what this was called until I looked it up. Bruxism. And at the same time, my jaw started clenching during the day. The body's small signal that something was stirring underneath. When the tipping point finally came, it landed with a force I hadn't expected. 2 nights of extreme insomnia followed. I've had mind loops before, and I've had nights where sleep wouldn't return, but I had never experienced anxiety attacks in the middle of the night. That was brand new. And the thoughts spiraled faster and faster until anxiety rose like a physical wave. On the first night, my body purged, diarrhea, vomiting, the nervous system in hyperarousal. And on the second night, I stayed with myself, doing breath work, rocking through the waves, and catching only brief nods towards sleep. It wasn't pretty, and it felt primal. And this isn't weakness, it's biology. It's trauma surfacing to be metabolized. And months before this release, the bruxism had been the first alarm, because the jaw often stores what we couldn't say. When feelings in our sacralchakra, our feeling center, are shamed, the throat and jaw may carry the aftermath. Locked jaw, grinding, tight throat, pain in the ears, neck, shoulders. And the map is simple. The sacral chakra feels, and the throat speaks. So if the sacral is silenced, the throat and jaw may hold the truth for you until it can rise. About a week before the release, I told my sister about this memory I had and that I had never said it aloud. Being woken at 14 and given the intimate details I had no business holding. I also told her about the humiliation wound I'd faced earlier in July, and her response surprised me. She didn't dismiss me, she didn't change the subject, she listened, and she laughed in a way that felt like recognition instead of mockery, and said, "Wow, you're really going deep." And that small moment of being heard, I believe, let the deeper wound open. Then, during integration work, another memory came. My mother waking me in the night, drunk, telling me she was never in love with my father, that she married him to get out of her house, and that she was really in love with one of my father's younger brothers. And at 14, I remember feeling that I wasn't born out of love, and that belief devastated an already fragile self-worth. And in the days that followed, I sensed something more was unresolved. I hadn't felt the full release that other inner child healings had given me. So I kept practicing mantras, scream therapy, singing on my hikes, offering my body space for anger. And 9 days after the first release, it happened. A trigger from a TV show, and the anger finally rose like a wave, crying from my gut, beating the pillow, words that my 14-year-old couldn't say at the time. Nobody saved us. Nobody stopped this. And I hated living in that house. My body shifted, and the bruxism eased a bit, the jaw softened, and the words finally released. And the timing of this mattered. The first release unfolded during the full moon and lunar eclipse. And the second, the anger, came just as the next eclipse portal opened. And this is the medicine of eclipses. They surface what we've avoided. They bring up the shadow so it can finally be released. And this is part 2 of the story. The aftermath has been messy, tender, and deeply instructive. And what I see more clearly now is the paradox I live inside, the frozen child who could not speak, and the man who finally can. Part 2 has been about holding both, the silence that shaped me and the voice that carries me forward. And yet, even with this release, I sense there is more to come. Layers of anger, memory, still waiting to rise. And that will be the work of part 3. And this reflection is also alive in my blog, which you can read fully on my website or on my Substack. Thank you for listening. Namaste.